The moon was watching. Silent, golden, and steady, it floated above the quiet town as if it had a secret to share, one meant only for those who believed in small miracles. And tonight, it was ready to witness something extraordinary. Something that would tiptoe gently into a child's life and leave a warm, soft glow in its place. You may not see it yet, but you can feel it, the kind of calm that wraps around you like a blanket, soft and unbreakable. Let yourself follow it. Before the story begins, before the first snowflake drifts lazily from the sky, allow your body to settle. You don't need to do anything at all. You only need to notice yourself here, now, safe, supported, and held. The bed beneath you, the floor beneath that, the quiet earth holding everything, you are a part of it, and it is a part of you. Feel that. Let it remind you that you can release the day just a little at a time. Take a long, slow breath in and let it out slowly. Feel your chest rise and fall. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands rest naturally. If your mind tries to wander, let it. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to solve. Just this moment, calm, quiet, soft. Notice the gentle rhythm of your breath. Let it move like a quiet stream, steady and smooth. Each inhale brings warmth. Each exhale releases tension. You don't need to force anything. You only need to follow the natural, gentle flow. Let it carry you into comfort. Your body may feel heavy. Let it, your mind may still hum with thoughts. Let them drift like clouds passing across a pale moon. They can come and go without your interference. Only the calm matters right now. Only the soft, slow pull of rest. Imagine a warm, golden light above your head. Not bright, not harsh, just soft and gentle. It begins to flow down, touching your forehead, smoothing every line, softening your eyes. The light drifts to your cheeks, your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders. With every inch it touches, you become more relaxed, more at ease. Your shoulders drop. Your arms fall comfortably at your sides. Your chest feels light. Your breathing naturally slows. Let the light continue down to your stomach, your hips, your legs, all the way to your feet. Your whole body softens. Your mind softens. You are ready to sink into calmness, ready to let go completely. In a moment, I will guide you through a gentle countdown, a slow, quiet way of letting your body settle deeper into this comfort. There is no hurry, there is no stress, just soft, deliberate ease. 10, sinking softly. 9, body releasing tension. 8, mind becoming calm. 7, breath slow and steady. 6, shoulders loose and light. 5, halfway to full relaxation. 4, warmth spreading through your chest. 3, drifting gently into quiet. 2, every muscle soft and heavy. 1, fully at peace. Your body is ready. Your mind is ready. And tonight, the story is ready to carry you into a world where the moon watches closely, where magic tiptoes quietly, and where a small wish may become a companion for life. The child stepped outside into the quiet of the snowy evening, boots far too big for her small feet, crunching softly against the crisp white ground. The world was hushed, as if holding its breath for something special to happen. The air was sharp, cold, and clean, and each little puff of breath floated up like tiny clouds that vanished before they reached the stars. Above, the moon glowed large and golden, its light spilling gently over the rooftops, turning every snowflake into a tiny, shimmering jewel. It was watching, just as it had always watched, but tonight it seemed to lean closer, curious, waiting. She tightened her scarf, the wool warm and soft against her neck, and looked up at the moon. It was as if it understood her completely, her wishes, her hopes, the quiet longing in her heart. Tonight, she had one simple wish. She had whispered it softly to the night, the words just a small thought, almost too fragile to carry any weight. A companion she had wished, a friend who could keep her company, someone who would share the quiet moments, the snowy mornings, the small adventures that made life bright. Just a small, loyal friend with 4 legs, a wagging tail, and a warmth that could match the glow of the moon itself. She closed her eyes for a moment, scrunching her nose against the cold, and made the wish. It was so small, it might have fit inside a single snowflake, invisible to anyone else. She opened her eyes, expecting nothing. The world remained still, quiet, and peaceful. The moon hung steady, the snow lay untouched, and even the wind seemed to hold its breath. For a moment, the child sighed, feeling a little foolish. Perhaps the moon had drifted off somewhere else. Perhaps her wish had vanished into the night, unnoticed and unheard. She turned to head back inside, the cold biting gently at her fingers. Boots crunching against the snow, preparing to slip unnoticed into the warmth of the house, she thought about pretending she hadn't wished at all. Some wishes, she reminded herself, belonged only to the quiet of the night, and perhaps this one had not been noticed at all. And yet, the world held a small, soft tension, like it was ready for something wonderful, something gentle, something unexpected. A sudden sound broke the quiet. A single, careful crunch, distinct and confident, came from the snow behind her. She froze, heart fluttering lightly in her chest. Slowly, carefully, she turned. There, sitting perfectly still beneath the golden moonlight, was a small dog. Not too big, not too small, just the exact shape a wish might take if the moon were feeling generous. Its fur glimmered slightly under the moon, dark yet soft, catching the silver light in a way that made it seem almost unreal. And the tail, just a small, gentle swish, hinted at curiosity, patience, and quiet confidence. The child's heart swelled with a fizzy mixture of delight and disbelief. The moon had not ignored her at all. It had waited, holding her wish carefully until the perfect moment arrived. The dog did not move too quickly, did not rush forward. It simply waited, as if understanding the quiet importance of this meeting, of this first moment that would change the child's world forever. She took a cautious step forward, breath catching in her chest, and the dog tilted its head ever so slightly, as if assessing her. Could she be trusted? Could she be gentle enough, careful enough, patient enough to earn its trust? The child crouched down slowly, moving the way one moves towards something precious and fragile. The dog did not flinch. It stayed exactly where it was, calm and steady, the moonlight draping over them both like a soft, warm shawl. She reached out a hand, small and trembling slightly with excitement, and the dog sniffed it seriously, pausing for a long moment before giving a tiny, approving sneeze. A wave of warmth ran through her chest, spreading from her toes all the way to her head. The moon seemed to smile, watching quietly, proud, steady, patient. The child whispered a tiny, careful hello. The dog, as if understanding the gentleness in her voice, stepped lightly toward her and rested one paw softly on her boot, marking the beginning of something entirely new. Something soft, loyal, magical. In that quiet, snow-covered street, under the watchful eye of the golden moon, the child understood. Her wish had come true. Not with a shout, not with fireworks, but softly, gently, like a secret being shared between the night and her heart. A companion had arrived. And for the first time, she realized that some moments were meant to be held in silence, to be cherished, before the rest of the world could see. The cold did not bother her now. The snow beneath her feet, the chill in her fingers, the moon above, everything became part of the magic, part of the soft rhythm of hope being fulfilled. The dog waited patiently, trusting entirely. And the child, heart pounding with wonder and gratitude, smiled. She knew the night had just begun. The child knelt slowly in the snow, feeling it crunch softly beneath her knees. The little dog stayed perfectly still, its dark eyes bright and curious, tail giving tiny, gentle swishes. It did not rush. It did not bark. It simply waited, as if it had been sent for this very moment, as if it knew that everything, trust, friendship, and a quiet understanding needed time to grow. She reached her hand out once more, letting her fingers brush the tip of its soft nose. The dog leaned in slightly, testing her patience and gentleness. The smallest shiver ran down her spine, not from the cold, but from the magic of this meeting. She whispered softly, "It's okay, I won't hurt you." And the dog seemed to understand, tilting its head, giving a tiny soft bark, almost like a gentle laugh. The snow around them sparkled in the moonlight, each flake catching light like a tiny star. The child felt a surge of joy rising in her chest, warm and fizzy, as if the whole world had paused to witness this small miracle. Her heart kept time with the dog's soft, steady breathing. She felt the first real pull of friendship, the first quiet tug of responsibility and delight that comes with caring for someone who trusts you completely. A few cautious steps, and the dog trotted a little closer. Its small paws left prints in the untouched snow, little marks of a new story beginning. The child mirrored its movements, stepping softly, learning its rhythm, careful not to frighten this tiny, perfect being that had wandered into her life. The night was still, calm, and serene. The moon hung heavy and warm above them, watching like an old, kind friend. The cold did not bite. The quiet did not oppress. Only the soft, rising heartbeat of something wonderful filled the space between them. She held out a hand again, this time with a tiny scrap of bread she had tucked into her pocket earlier. The dog sniffed it, then sniffed her hand, and finally, with slow, deliberate movements, accepted the small offering. A warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the winter air. Trust, she realized, was a delicate gift, and she was holding it now, wrapped in the moonlight, a small promise shared between them. She laughed softly, a sound that felt as quiet and safe as the snow around them. The dog responded with a tiny bark, a gentle nudge, and the two of them moved together like old friends learning a new dance. The child took another step, brushing the snow off her boots, careful not to startle her new companion. The dog mirrored her movements almost exactly, testing the boundaries, testing the safety of the world it had stumbled into. And then, slowly, she stood fully, holding out her arms just slightly, as if offering a silent invitation. The dog trotted forward, careful, cautious, and yet confident in its own trust. It brushed against her legs, its fur warm and soft, a stark contrast to the crisp cold surrounding them. She felt the connection deepen, a quiet bond forming with each small, deliberate movement. The child looked up at the moon. Its golden glow seemed to shimmer a little brighter, as if approving, as if nodding to the quiet miracle unfolding below. The dog's eyes met hers again, steady and calm, full of trust, full of gentle curiosity. And she realized something important. This was more than a wish coming true. This was a beginning. A beginning of friendship, of care, of quiet, shared moments that would stretch through snowy mornings, cozy evenings, and every small adventure yet to come. The moon watched, patient and kind, and the world felt soft, warm, and entirely safe. She let herself take a small step backward, letting the dog move forward freely, and then they circled one another slowly, testing the space, testing the trust. The snow sparkled beneath their feet, untouched except for the delicate marks of this first playful meeting. The wind whispered softly through the trees, gentle and approving, as if celebrating the quiet magic of trust forming. The child's laughter was soft, light, and completely at ease. The dog barked once more, small and confident, and trotted around her, tail swishing, delight visible in its careful, measured movements. By the time she stepped back fully and allowed herself to stand tall, the dog was already moving beside her, matching her pace, mirroring her every step without even needing to be told. A soft warmth spread in her chest, a feeling she had never experienced so fully before. This small, loyal companion had arrived quietly, magically, and completely. And the child, heart full of gratitude and wonder, knew that this night, under the watchful, golden moon, had changed everything. The snow, the silence, the cold, all of it had become the perfect setting for the beginning of something extraordinary. The child took a careful step toward the house, boots crunching softly against the fresh snow. The little dog followed without hesitation, its dark eyes bright and full of quiet trust. The moon hung above, steady and golden, casting a gentle glow on their path as if guiding them safely forward. Every step felt deliberate, measured, a delicate dance between excitement and caution. The cold nipped gently at their faces, but it was a small thing compared to the warmth growing inside, the thrill of a secret shared, and the joy of new companionship. She glanced back toward the windows of the house. Warm light spilled out, cozy and soft, flickering across the snow like a welcoming hand. The adults inside were busy with Christmas Eve preparations, bustling and laughing, completely unaware of the little adventure unfolding just outside. Perfect, she thought, a secret mission in the soft quiet of the night. She crouched slightly, holding her hand out toward the dog, inviting it to stay close. It stepped forward, brushing against her leg, as if understanding the importance of silence, the necessity of patience. The child led the way toward the back door, every movement slow and careful, mindful of every creak, every whisper of snow underfoot. The dog mirrored her motions, small paws leaving delicate prints in the untouched snow, marking the path of something extraordinary. She whispered softly, "Almost there, just a little farther." The words were not for the dog exactly, but for herself too, a quiet reassurance that everything would be safe, everything would be okay. The moonlight shimmered on the dog's fur, making it look almost unreal, magical in the soft glow, a small miracle she could almost not believe. At the door, she paused, holding it slightly ajar. The warmth from inside spilled out in a quiet ribbon, brushing against her cold cheeks and fingertips. She looked down at the dog. Its eyes met hers with an expression of complete trust, gentle and patient. She smiled softly, feeling a swell of responsibility. It was hers now in this quiet, tender way, and it was up to her to keep it safe, to care for it, to nurture this small, fragile wonder that had appeared like a gift from the night. Carefully, she guided the dog inside, step by step, making sure its paws didn't make a sound on the wooden floor. The house smelled of firewood, spices, and the faint sweetness of biscuits left on a tray, comforting and warm. The dog paused just inside the door, sniffing cautiously, and she whispered, "It's okay. Just a little hideaway for now." She led it toward a small cupboard near the hallway, her heart beating quietly in rhythm with the soft tap of its paws. The cupboard was just big enough, warm enough, and felt private, a tiny sanctuary for this small companion who had quietly stolen her heart. The dog stepped in without complaint, curling its tail neatly around itself, blinking calmly, as if it had always belonged there. The child closed the door just slightly, leaving a small gap for fresh air, so it could breathe easily. She leaned her forehead against the wood for a moment, a quiet smile on her lips, whispering, "I'll come back soon, I promise." Every word felt like a soft pledge, a gentle promise to care for this small being who trusted her completely. She stood back and allowed herself a moment to breathe, brushing the snow from her boots and straightening her scarf. The house continued in its lively Christmas Eve rhythm, adults bustling, voices overlapping, completely unaware of the secret in their midst. The child returned to the living room, blending seamlessly into the ordinary chaos, heart full of warmth and wonder. Each glance toward the cupboard reminded her of the quiet miracle waiting there, and a soft sense of responsibility settled in her chest. She knew the night would continue, quiet and magical, and that she and her companion would share it in their secret world, under the watchful eyes of the moon. As she sank back into the cozy warmth of the living room, watching the gentle flicker of the fire and the soft shadows dancing on the walls, the child felt a profound, quiet happiness. It was more than joy. It was connection, trust, and the tender thrill of holding a secret that was as magical as it was fragile. The dog rested calmly in its small hideaway, moonlight spilling through the slightly cracked door, bathing it in a soft glow. And the child, safe and warm, knew that this was the beginning of a quiet, wondrous journey, one that would stretch through snow-covered mornings, cozy evenings, and every magical moment yet to come. The night stretched on, soft and patient, filled with the gentle rhythm of a house settling into its Christmas Eve calm. The moon hung above, steady and approving, its light spilling across the snow like a quiet blessing. And somewhere in that calm, two hearts, small and patient, shared the unspoken joy of first trust, first companionship, and the kind of magic that only comes when wishes are whispered quietly to the night. The child glanced toward the cupboard, heart fluttering with quiet excitement. Every small sound in the house seemed amplified, the soft crackle of the fire, the gentle hum of conversation, the faint creak of a floorboard. She waited for a moment, listening carefully, making sure the adults were still busy with Christmas Eve preparations. The room smelled warm and inviting, filled with the sweetness of spices and the faint aroma of baked treats. perfectly ordinary, perfectly calm, except for the secret waiting just a few steps away. She tiptoed down the hallway, careful to match her steps to the soft rhythm of the house. Each footfall was deliberate, measured, as if moving through a gentle dream. The cupboard was just as she had left it, a small haven for the little dog that had wandered into her life like a quiet wish come true. She knelt down slowly, opening the door just enough for a small stream of golden moonlight to spill inside. The dog's eyes met hers, bright and trusting, tail giving a slow, happy wag. A soft, contented sigh escaped from it, a sound that made her heart swell with joy and warmth. She held out her hand with a tiny scrap of leftover bread she had tucked away, careful not to spill a crumb. The dog sniffed the offering, sniffed her hand again, then took it gently, as if it understood that this was more than food. It was care, kindness, and a quiet promise. She whispered softly, "Just a little for now, I'll come back soon." Every word felt like a secret shared between the two of them, a tender understanding that needed no explanation. The dog leaned into her hand, brushing its warm fur against her fingers, and she felt a soft, happy warmth spread through her chest. She stayed there for a while, quietly stroking its fur, feeling the small heartbeat beneath her fingers. The world outside the cupboard seemed to disappear, the soft hum of adults, the gentle crackle of the fire, even the golden moonlight outside felt distant. All that existed was this quiet, magical connection, a small miracle woven between a child and a dog on a snowy Christmas Eve. Trust was growing slowly, patiently, like a tiny seed in the rich soil of night, nurtured by care, patience, and gentle love. After a few moments, she decided to give it a little more, a small piece of leftover chicken, carefully wrapped in a napkin. She held it out, and the dog accepted it without hesitation, eyes gleaming with appreciation, tail wagging softly. Each tiny act of care deepened their bond, a silent conversation of trust and affection. She laughed softly, a quiet, warm sound that blended with the gentle night, and the dog responded with a small bark, almost like a gentle giggle of its own. The snow outside glimmered through the window, catching the moonlight, turning the night into a quiet, magical stage for their growing friendship. The child leaned her forehead against the door of the cupboard for a moment, closing her eyes, feeling the quiet rhythm of the dog's breathing. She felt a small, tender responsibility settle in her chest. This little being trusted her completely, and she had to honor that trust. Food, warmth, comfort, safety, everything mattered. Even a soft word, a gentle stroke, a tiny laugh shared in the stillness of night. Every small action became part of a delicate dance of companionship, woven quietly under the moon's watchful gaze. She stepped back slowly, giving the dog space to settle comfortably. It curled its tail neatly around itself, eyes half closed, content and safe. She watched it for a few more moments, then whispered, "I'll be back soon." The words were soft, tender, full of the unspoken understanding that this was the start of something lasting, something patient, gentle, and magical. She straightened herself, brushing snow from her boots, and tiptoed back toward the living room, slipping seamlessly into the rhythm of ordinary life, while her heart remained quietly wrapped around the secret waiting in the cupboard. The night stretched on softly, gentle and calm, filled with the hush of falling snow outside, the warmth of the fire inside, and the quiet heartbeat of a friendship beginning to blossom. Under the golden gaze of the moon, two hearts, one small, one furry, shared a bond that needed no words, only trust, care, and the slow, steady rhythm of quiet love. And in that secret, tender space, the child understood that Christmas Eve was not just about presents or decorations. It was about the quiet magic of kindness, the soft power of trust, and the wonder of a wish gently fulfilled. The child waited until the living room hummed softly with quiet conversation, the adults absorbed in their tasks, oblivious to the secret just a few steps away. She glanced at the cupboard, heart thumping with excitement, and whispered softly to herself, "Time for a little adventure." The dog, already alert at the slight sound of her voice, wagged its tail with a patient, knowing enthusiasm. It had learned that every movement of hers carried meaning, and it trusted her completely, without question. Slowly, carefully, she opened the cupboard door just a crack. The dog stepped out with soft, measured paws, sniffing the air as if to confirm that everything was safe. The snow outside sparkled under the moonlight, untouched and inviting, a perfect canvas for their first shared exploration. The child held out her hand, and the dog nuzzled it gently before stepping beside her, moving in rhythm with her careful steps. Together, they slipped quietly through the back door, into the soft cold of the winter night. The first touch of snow against the dog's paws made it pause, shaking them slightly before trotting forward again. The child laughed softly, the sound warm and light against the crisp night air. "It's okay, it's soft," she murmured, crouching down to let the dog sniff at a snow-covered twig. The dog sniffed eagerly, tail wagging, then looked up at her as if asking, "Do you like this too?" The child nodded, and together they began to explore the small patch of yard, the snow crunching underfoot, each step marking the beginning of countless adventures yet to come. The moon above was full and golden, casting a gentle glow over the snow, turning each flake into a tiny sparkling star. The child rolled a small snowball and gently tossed it a few feet away. The dog's ears perked immediately, and with a quick, careful leap, it chased after the snowball, nudging it with its nose before trotting back proudly, eyes shining. The child clapped softly, laughter escaping in quiet bursts. Every small movement, every playful nudge was a conversation in trust, an exchange of joy unspoken and perfect. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the faint, comforting scent of pine and the crispness of the night. The child crouched again, patting the snow, forming small paths and inviting the dog to follow. It moved along the tracks carefully at first, then, gaining confidence, started hopping and twirling in the snow, ears flopping with delight. Each joyful bound sent a spray of snowflakes into the air, sparkling like tiny fireworks under the soft moonlight. The child's heart lifted with each joyful leap, each small bark of happiness, feeling the quiet magic of companionship in every moment. After a few playful laps, the dog sat down beside her, tail thumping gently against the snow. She leaned down, brushing her fingers along its soft fur, feeling the warmth beneath her touch. The dog rested its head lightly on her knee, a small sigh of contentment escaping. For a quiet moment, everything paused, the hum of the house, the whisper of the wind, the sparkle of the snow. Only the gentle, steady rhythm of trust and affection filled the space between them. She whispered softly, "You like it here, don't you?" The dog blinked slowly, tilting its head, and then gave a soft bark that felt like agreement. The moon above seemed to shine a little brighter, approving this first, quiet adventure. The child stood, stretching her legs, and the dog mirrored her, rising carefully and trotting back to her side. Together, they circled the yard slowly, testing the boundaries of their small world, learning each other's pace, and discovering the joy of movement, trust, and shared excitement. As they paused near the garden fence, the child reached down, patting the snow once more, and the dog nudged her hand gently with its nose. It was a small gesture, but for her, it felt like a promise. A promise of countless moments yet to come, of shared secrets, of playful nights, and quiet companionship. The snow around them shimmered in the moonlight, marking the start of a friendship that would stretch far beyond this single winter night. And under that golden glow, the child and her new companion understood, without words, that this was the beginning of something extraordinary. The night settled softly around the house, calm and quiet, with only the gentle glow of the moon casting golden light across the snow. Inside, the child lay for a moment on her bed, thinking of the little dog curled snugly in its secret cupboard. She felt a warmth bloom in her chest, a quiet happiness that only comes from caring for someone who trusts you completely. Her mind drifted to the adventures they had shared just outside, the playful hops in the snow, and the small, soft bark of delight that made her laugh quietly in the stillness of night. Soon, she slipped quietly from her bed, careful not to disturb the gentle hum of the house. Slipping on her oversized boots and wrapping her scarf snugly, she tiptoed toward the cupboard. The dog's ears pricked up at the faint sound of her steps, and it blinked sleepily, tail giving a small, slow wag. "I brought something for you," she whispered softly, holding out a tiny scrap of leftover chicken wrapped in a napkin. The dog sniffed cautiously, then nudged it gently with its nose before accepting the treat with careful precision, as though every bite was a tiny confirmation of trust. The child crouched beside the cupboard, stroking the dog's fur with slow, gentle movements. Each touch felt like a quiet conversation, a soft exchange of care and companionship. The dog leaned into her hand, sighing contentedly, eyes half closed, trusting her completely. In these small, patient moments, a bond was forming that needed no words, only gentle gestures, soft laughter, and the quiet rhythm of shared trust. She whispered, "I'll be back again tomorrow night." The dog gave a soft bark, a tiny sound that seemed like agreement, a promise that it understood perfectly. After a while, she decided to bring the dog outside again, if only for a short walk under the soft glow of the moon. Carefully, she guided it toward the back door, moving slowly to avoid waking anyone. Outside, the snow lay untouched, sparkling faintly under the gentle light, a perfect canvas for small, joyful moments. The dog sniffed eagerly, tail wagging softly, and the child smiled, feeling the quiet happiness of sharing this secret, this special world, with someone who understood without needing words. They moved slowly across the yard, the child pointing out tiny wonders along the way, a branch tipped with frost, a soft puff of snow that looked like clouds, the delicate footprints of a bird that had wandered across the garden. The dog explored quietly, stepping gently, pausing now and then to look back at her with bright, trusting eyes. Every little discovery was a shared adventure, a gentle moment of magic under the moonlight. She laughed softly when the dog leapt at a small snowflake, its movements light and joyful, perfectly in sync with the quiet rhythm of the night. Returning to the cupboard, she set down another small treat, patting the dog gently on its head. "Sleep well," she whispered. The dog curled into a neat ball, tail tucked softly around itself, eyes closing slowly. She watched for a moment, feeling the deep satisfaction of a task well done, of a promise kept, of trust nurtured and cherished. These nightly rituals, small and simple, were weaving a quiet magic between them, a soft thread of connection that would stretch far beyond this single night. As she tiptoed back to her room, the moonlight spilling across the snow seemed to follow her gently, bathing the world in calm and wonder. Inside, the warmth of the fire and the soft glow of lights reminded her of the ordinary world waiting within the house. Yet outside, under the quiet gaze of the moon, a small, magical bond was growing, patient and gentle, full of trust, play, and quiet love. The child felt a tender sense of joy settle deep in her chest, a knowing that these small, secret moments were only the beginning, the first spark of a friendship that would shape countless nights to come. She slipped under her covers, heart light and full, imagining the dog sleeping peacefully in its little hideaway. The hush of the house, the soft rustle of blankets, and the distant whisper of the night outside blended into a lullaby of quiet happiness. Somewhere in the cupboard, a small, trusting heart beat steadily, and the child knew that together, they had begun a journey of trust, care, and gentle magic. One night, one secret smile, and one shared adventure at a time. The night stretched on, calm and quiet, with the house wrapped in the soft hush of winter. The child lay in bed, listening to the faint creaks of the floorboards, the gentle crackle of the fire, and the soft, distant whisper of the wind brushing against the windows. Yet her thoughts were not on sleep, but on the little dog tucked away in its secret cupboard. She felt a tender warmth settle in her chest, a quiet excitement that made her heart feel light and full. Tomorrow was Christmas, and already the house seemed filled with the gentle hum of magic, a magic made brighter by the bond she was building in secret. Unable to resist, she slipped quietly from her bed, careful not to disturb the slumbering adults. She wrapped herself in a soft scarf, slid her boots on, and tiptoed down the hallway. The dog, already alert at the faintest sound of her movement, lifted its head and blinked slowly, tail giving a small, wagging pulse. "Ready for a little magic?" she whispered. The dog responded with a soft, approving bark, and together they moved to the back door. Outside, the moon hung low and golden, bathing the snow in a quiet, luminous glow, as if the world itself had paused to watch the unfolding of this gentle adventure. The child led the dog slowly across the snow-covered yard, careful not to disturb the quiet of night. Each step was deliberate, soft against the crisp snow, leaving tiny footprints that sparkled in the moonlight. The dog sniffed eagerly at each new scent, tail wagging in gentle rhythm. Every small sound, the crunch of snow underfoot, the soft rush of wind through bare branches, was a part of their shared symphony of trust. The child laughed softly when the dog leapt at a drifting snowflake, a movement so delicate and playful it seemed almost magical. In that moment, the world outside felt infinite, full of quiet wonders waiting to be discovered together. They paused near the garden, where a small patch of untouched snow seemed to invite them to explore. The child crouched, patting the surface gently, forming tiny paths for the dog to follow. The dog's steps were careful at first, then bold, hopping and twirling with soft joy, ears flopping with delight. Each joyful leap sent a cascade of snowflakes into the air, catching the moonlight like fleeting sparks of magic. She reached down, brushing the dog's fur slowly, feeling the warmth beneath her fingers and the steady heartbeat of trust building between them. For a quiet moment, they stood together, bathed in the soft golden glow, sharing a silence that spoke louder than words. The child whispered, "It's almost Christmas, and I'm so glad you're here." The dog leaned into her hand, tail thumping softly, as though understanding every word. Trust, she realized, was more than just patience or care. It was a quiet bond, a shared rhythm of understanding and love that needed no explanation. Every small gesture, every soft laugh, every gentle pat deepened the connection, weaving an invisible thread of companionship stronger than anything she had known. As the night grew colder, she decided to bring a small treat, careful to honor the trust they had built. She knelt beside the dog, placing a few crumbs of leftover chicken in a tiny dish, watching as it ate with careful appreciation. The dog paused to nuzzle her hand, a silent thank you, and she laughed softly, her voice a gentle murmur in the quiet night. Each shared moment was a small miracle, a secret magic that belonged only to the two of them, hidden under the moon's patient gaze. The child glanced up at the moon, its golden glow steady and warm, as if approving this quiet exchange of trust and love. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "everything will be so bright, but tonight it's just us." The dog rested its head lightly on her knee, breathing softly, and together they lingered in the hush of night, hearts full of quiet joy and anticipation. The moon watched silently, its light wrapping around them like a gentle promise, marking the beginning of a Christmas Eve filled with small, tender magic. Eventually, the child straightened, brushing snow from her sleeves and smoothing her scarf. "Time to sleep," she whispered. The dog gave a soft, contented sigh, curling into its little hideaway in the cupboard. She tiptoed back to her room, slipping under her covers with a heart still warm from the night's gentle adventures. The house lay still once more, snow sparkling softly outside, the moon keeping a watchful eye over the child and her new companion. And in that quiet, golden glow, the child knew that Christmas morning would be brighter than ever, because tonight, under the moon's calm gaze, a friendship had been quietly, perfectly forged. The quiet of the house seemed to stretch endlessly, soft and comforting, as the child lay in bed, thinking of her secret companion. Even in the dim light of the moon filtering through the window, she could feel the presence of the dog curled snugly in its little hideaway. Her mind wandered to the first moments they had shared, trust forming in small gestures, joy sparkling in each tiny interaction, and the gentle rhythm of companionship that needed no words. Tonight, she wanted to give back a piece of that happiness. Gently, she slipped from her bed again, careful to move like a whisper across the floor. Her heart beat quietly in anticipation, her feet carrying her softly toward the cupboard. The dog's ears pricked at the slightest sound, tail giving a small wag, and it rose, blinking sleepily in welcome. "I've got something for you," she whispered, revealing a few small treats she had hidden earlier. The dog sniffed eagerly, nose twitching as it recognized the familiar sense of care and affection. She placed the treats carefully on the floor, watching as the dog accepted them with measured delight, each small bite strengthening the trust between them. After the little feast, the child crouched beside the dog, brushing her fingers through its soft fur. She smiled softly, feeling the steady warmth under her touch, the gentle rise and fall of its chest with every breath. The dog leaned into her hand, eyes half closed, a sigh escaping as though to say, "Thank you, I trust you." These quiet exchanges, small and simple, were the foundation of something far greater, a bond woven from patience, love, and gentle magic. She whispered again, "I'll make this Christmas perfect for you, even if it's just little things." The dog's tail thumped softly, a gentle echo of agreement. The child's eyes drifted to the small window, where moonlight shimmered on the untouched snow outside. Inspiration sparkled in her mind, and she decided to create tiny surprises beyond just treats. She carefully gathered a few leftover scraps of soft bread, shaping them into little snowball-like morsels for the dog. Each one was a quiet token of care, a symbol of the love and trust growing stronger with every secret visit. She rolled them gently in her hands, laying them near the dog, watching as it approached each one with curiosity and gentle excitement. The simple act of giving, quiet and unobtrusive, carried a powerful joy that filled the night with warmth. Together, they moved toward the back door once more, stepping softly into the crisp air. The snow glimmered under the moonlight, untouched and inviting, a perfect stage for their shared secret world. The dog sniffed eagerly at the fresh tracks and the scattered treats, tail wagging in slow, measured rhythm. The child laughed softly, the sound blending with the quiet whisper of the wind, and she felt the pure, gentle magic of the moment. A magic that was theirs alone, hidden from the bustling world inside the house. They wandered slowly across the yard, exploring small corners, discovering hidden patterns in the snow, and sharing quiet, joyful moments. Every soft paw step, every gentle nudge, every little playful gesture reinforced the bond between them. She noticed how the dog's trust had grown, no hesitation, no doubt, only pure companionship and joy. The moon above seemed to glow a little brighter, as if pleased by the tiny, tender acts unfolding beneath its watchful gaze. Finally, the child led the dog back toward the cupboard, placing a few final treats inside as a quiet reward for its patience and trust. She brushed its fur gently, whispering, "Sleep well, my friend. Tomorrow will be bright and everything will feel magical." The dog curled into a neat ball, eyes closing slowly, a soft sigh of contentment filling the air. She tiptoed back to her room, slipping under her covers, heart light and full. Outside, the snow sparkled softly under the moon, and the house remained quiet, holding its secrets close. Tonight, she thought, had been a night of small wonders, quiet surprises, and the gentle forging of a bond that would last far beyond this Christmas Eve. The child closed her eyes, imagining the dog sleeping peacefully, dreaming of snowy fields, soft moonlight, and shared adventures. She felt a quiet, steady happiness settle deep inside her, a feeling that came from giving, caring, and being trusted completely in return. And as the house lay silent and the moon watched over them both, she knew, with the certainty only a child can hold, that the magic of tonight would carry into tomorrow, bringing joy, wonder, and the warmth of friendship that could never be broken. The night stretched softly across the little house, wrapping it in quiet calm. The child lay in bed for a moment, listening to the gentle creak of floorboards and the soft whisper of wind brushing the windows. But her thoughts, as always, drifted to the dog tucked away in its secret cupboard. She imagined its soft, trusting eyes, the steady warmth beneath its fur, and the gentle rhythm of its breathing. She felt a quiet happiness bloom inside her, the kind that comes from knowing someone trusts you completely and from caring for them in return. Unable to resist, she slipped softly from her bed once more. Her boots made only the faintest sound against the floor, and the dog, attuned to every whisper of movement, lifted its head and blinked slowly. "Ready for a little moonlight adventure?" she whispered. Its tail thumped once, then twice, and it rose gracefully, stepping beside her with the quiet confidence of one who trusted completely. Outside, the snow glimmered under the moon's golden glow, crisp and untouched, creating a soft, magical stage for their shared, secret world. The child led the dog slowly across the garden, marveling at the way moonlight reflected off the frost-tipped branches and soft drifts of snow. Each step was gentle, measured, leaving tiny footprints behind that sparkled like sprinkled stardust. The dog explored with careful curiosity, ears pricked and tail swaying, occasionally pausing to look back at her with bright, trusting eyes. The world seemed to hold its breath, quiet and expectant, as if it too was watching the tender bond forming beneath the soft glow of the moon. They stopped near the old oak tree at the edge of the yard. The child crouched low, brushing a soft layer of snow from the dog's back, feeling the warmth beneath her fingers. "Look," she whispered softly, "the moon is shining just for us tonight." The dog tilted its head, as if understanding every word, and leaned into her hand, tail wagging slowly. Together, they gazed up at the moon, its steady glow a gentle witness to their quiet companionship. In that moment, the ordinary world seemed to fade away. The chill of the night, the hush of the snow, and the steady beat of trust and love between them created a perfect, magical bubble of peace. The child held out her hand, inviting the dog closer, and it nudged it gently with its nose. She laughed softly, the sound barely more than a whisper, blending seamlessly with the soft sigh of wind and the faint rustle of the snow. They moved slowly through the yard, creating a tiny dance of shadows and footprints beneath the golden moonlight. Each shared glance, every gentle pat, every soft laugh deepened the bond between them. Trust, she realized, was a language without words, a rhythm felt through quiet moments, soft gestures, and shared adventures. For a while, they paused, letting the magic of the night surround them. The child whispered stories to the dog, tales of snowy fields, playful adventures, and whispered dreams. The dog listened as though it understood every word, eyes half closed in serene contentment. In these quiet, shared moments, the world seemed to expand, giving them both a sense of wonder and a feeling that Christmas magic was not just in the presents or decorations, but in the small, secret moments they shared under the calm gaze of the moon. Eventually, the child led the dog back toward the house, careful not to disturb the hush of night. She placed a few small treats in the cupboard, brushing its fur gently and whispering, "Sleep well, my friend. Tomorrow will be bright and everything will feel magical." The dog curled up, tail tucked neatly, eyes closing slowly with a contented sigh. She tiptoed back to her room, slipping under her covers with a heart full of quiet joy. Outside, the snow sparkled under the moon, the soft glow wrapping the house like a gentle promise. The child imagined Christmas morning, the warmth of the house, and the excitement waiting just beyond the quiet of night. But for now, there was only this moonlit magic, a soft bond of trust, and the gentle rhythm of friendship that needed no words. And as she drifted toward sleep, she felt certain, in a way only a child can, that the magic of tonight would carry into tomorrow, making the first Christmas morning with her new friend even more unforgettable. The house lay quiet under the soft glow of the moon, wrapped in the gentle hush of a winter night. Inside, the child stirred in her bed for a moment, thoughts drifting to her secret companion in the cupboard. She could almost feel the dog's warmth, its steady heartbeat, and the soft rise and fall of its chest as it rested. A quiet smile touched her lips. The trust they shared was something magical, a silent promise that each small act of care would be met with gentle understanding. Tonight, she wanted to deepen that bond, even before the excitement of Christmas morning arrived. Carefully, she slipped from her bed, wrapping a soft scarf around her neck, and moved toward the cupboard. The dog stirred immediately, ears pricked, tail giving a small wag. It rose, stretching slowly, and nudged her gently with its nose. "Ready for a little more fun?" she whispered. The dog barked softly in reply, a gentle, approving sound. She opened the cupboard door, and together they stepped into the crisp night air. Outside, the snow sparkled under the moonlight, untouched and inviting, creating the perfect stage for their quiet, shared adventure. They wandered slowly through the yard, exploring every nook and corner. The dog bounded over small drifts of snow, leaping playfully and sending tiny sprays of powder into the air. The child laughed softly, her breath rising in gentle clouds, watching the dog twist and turn with delight. Every playful movement, every gentle chase, strengthened the trust between them. The world outside seemed to pause, holding its breath as moonlight danced across snow, footprints, and wagging tails. These moments, small and simple, felt larger than anything else, the magic of shared joy, trust, and quiet companionship. At the edge of the garden, a small patch of untouched snow caught the child's attention. She knelt down, scooping a handful into her mittened hands and forming tiny snowballs, careful not to let them crumble too quickly. "Catch!" she whispered, tossing a soft ball toward the dog. With surprising gentleness, it nudged it back with its nose, a small game that needed no words. They played like that for a while, tossing snow, nudging, and laughing softly. Each interaction was a gentle dance, a rhythm of trust and shared delight. Eventually, the child paused, brushing the dog's fur with slow, careful strokes. "You're so brave," she murmured, watching as it tilted its head, eyes half closed in contentment. The dog leaned into her hand, tail sweeping the snow lightly, and she felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Trust was not just in quiet obedience or gentle companionship. It was in these playful moments, in the laughter and shared joy, in the understanding that each small act, each tiny game, each soft touch built a bond stronger than words could describe. As they wandered closer to the house again, the child noticed the faint glow of lights flickering from the windows. The warmth of home, the gentle bustle of preparations, and the quiet rhythm of the night outside combined to create a sense of anticipation. Tomorrow would bring excitement, presents, and the joy of Christmas morning, but tonight held something equally precious: the quiet, unspoken magic of trust and friendship. She knelt beside the dog once more, placing a few small treats carefully on the snow-covered ground. The dog ate with gentle appreciation, pausing to nuzzle her hand as if to say thank you. She laughed softly, brushing her fingers through its fur, feeling the steady warmth and soft trust beneath her touch. Outside, the moon watched silently, golden light spilling across the yard, highlighting footprints, wagging tails, and the soft sweep of scarves. It seemed to approve, a quiet witness to the bond forming beneath its glow. Finally, the child led the dog back toward the cupboard, brushing snow from its paws and smoothing its fur gently. "Sleep now, my friend," she whispered. The dog curled into its little hideaway, tail tucked neatly, eyes closing slowly in contentment. She tiptoed back to her room, slipping under her covers with a heart full of gentle joy. Outside, snow sparkled softly under the moon, wrapping the house in calm, quiet magic. Tonight, the world felt perfect, held in the soft glow of trust, play, and shared moments. And as the child drifted toward sleep, she knew that Christmas morning would be even more special because of the gentle bond she had nurtured, hidden under the calm gaze of the moon. The quiet of the house was gentle, almost like it was holding its breath in anticipation. The child lay for a moment in her bed, thinking about her secret companion tucked safely in the cupboard. A small smile spread across her face, imagining the dog's trusting eyes and soft, warm fur. Tonight, she wanted to give a little extra joy, a quiet surprise to show her care and appreciation for the companionship they had shared so far. She slipped softly from her bed, careful not to wake the house. Each step was a whisper on the floor as she moved toward the cupboard. The dog, sensing her approach, stirred and lifted its head, tail giving a small wag in greeting. "I have something for you," she whispered, crouching to meet its bright, attentive gaze. Its ears pricked, and it leaned forward slightly, curious and excited, as if it understood that something special was coming. From a small corner of the room, she gathered some scraps she had saved, bits of leftover treats, a piece of soft bread, and a tiny ribbon she had found earlier. Carefully, she wrapped them together in a small bundle, tying it gently with the ribbon. The child's hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the excitement of giving. She knelt beside the dog, placing the tiny bundle before it. The dog sniffed it carefully, then nudged it with its nose, tail wagging in delight. It seemed to understand, in the way only animals do, that this was a gift of love and care. Together, they moved toward the back door, stepping softly into the crisp night air. The snow shimmered under the moon, untouched and magical, a perfect setting for their quiet little celebration. The child set the bundle carefully on a small patch of snow, brushing a light layer of powder off its top. "Merry Christmas, my friend," she whispered, watching as the dog sniffed, nudged, and finally discovered the tiny treats inside. Its tail thumped once, twice, a soft rhythm of appreciation, and the child laughed gently, the sound mingling with the hush of the wind and the soft rustle of the snow. She crouched beside the dog, brushing its fur slowly and softly, feeling the warmth beneath her fingers. "I wanted to make tonight special for you," she said quietly. The dog leaned into her hand, eyes half closed in serene contentment. These quiet, shared moments, simple as they were, carried a magic stronger than anything else. They spoke of trust, care, and love, things that could not be rushed, only nurtured patiently over time. After a while, they wandered slowly across the yard, pausing to explore corners bathed in moonlight. Each step left tiny footprints behind, glimmering in the soft snow like traces of magic. The dog pranced playfully, occasionally glancing back at the child as if to make sure she was following, tail swishing in gentle rhythm. The child laughed softly, her breath forming delicate clouds that drifted in the cold air. Each small interaction, each shared smile and gentle gesture, strengthened the bond between them. Eventually, they returned to the cupboard, the tiny Christmas surprise now a memory of delight in the dog's mind. She brushed the dog's paws, making sure they were free of snow, and smoothed its fur carefully. "Rest well now," she whispered, placing it gently inside its hideaway. The dog curled up, tail tucked neatly, eyes closing slowly in contented sleep. She tiptoed back to her bed, pulling the covers up to her chin with a heart full of warmth. Outside, the moon shone softly over the snowy yard, highlighting the small footprints, the tiny bundle, and the quiet world of trust and love that had unfolded beneath its golden glow. Tonight, the house seemed to hold all the magic of Christmas in its quiet corners. The whispered laughter, the small gifts, and the gentle bond between a child and her loyal companion. And as she drifted to sleep, the child felt certain that tomorrow would be brighter, warmer, and filled with the kind of joy that only comes from love shared quietly, patiently, and with a heart fully open. The night deepened, wrapping the little house in soft shadows and a calm that felt almost sacred. The child lay beneath her warm blankets, eyes closing slowly, but her mind wandered back to the little secret sleeping just a few steps away in the cupboard. She imagined the dog's small chest rising and falling, the gentle twitch of its ears in dreams, and the warmth of its fur brushing softly against the air. A quiet smile spread across her face, a smile full of wonder and gratitude for the quiet bond they shared. Outside, the snow lay untouched, reflecting the pale, golden light of the moon. Each branch, each drift, glimmered as though sprinkled with tiny stars, and the world felt paused in a moment of perfect calm. The child imagined the dog stirring in its sleep, dreaming of playful adventures across snowy fields, chasing invisible snowflakes, and running alongside her through endless stretches of moonlit wonder. In her mind, she could hear its small sighs of contentment and the soft thump of its tail against the floor, even in the quietest moments. She turned slightly in her bed, listening to the gentle rhythm of the house settling for the night. The faint creak of floorboards, the whisper of the wind against the windows, and the soft ticking of the old clock on the wall. The child imagined herself stepping into the dog's dreams, running alongside it through fields of snow, chasing shimmering moonbeams, and feeling the thrill of shared joy. Each imagined leap, each playful paw in the snow, brought a quiet, satisfying warmth to her chest. The magic of the night was not in the presents or decorations, but in this quiet connection that needed no words. The dog, in its secret hideaway, shifted slightly in its sleep. Perhaps it dreamed of soft fields, frosty trails, and the child's gentle hands brushing its fur. Perhaps it dreamed of chasing shadows across snow, leaping with abandon under the moonlight, and feeling safe in a world that had suddenly grown tender and trusting. In every small movement and every tiny sigh, the dog carried a sense of contentment, a soft happiness that mirrored the child's own quiet excitement for the morning ahead. Time moved slowly, almost imperceptibly, as the house remained wrapped in peaceful stillness. The child's eyes fluttered closed fully, letting herself drift into the comforting embrace of sleep, knowing that the dog was nearby, warm, trusting, and safe. In dreams, the child imagined the first moments of Christmas morning, the soft light spilling across the floor, the gentle rustle of wrapping paper, and the dog's curious eyes peeking around corners, ready to share in the wonder of the day. She pictured the quiet smiles of her parents, the soft warmth of home, and the magic that only comes when hearts are open and full of love. The moon continued its gentle vigil outside, golden and calm, casting soft shadows over the yard and the little house within. It seemed to acknowledge the secret world of trust and care that had blossomed between child and dog, a silent witness to their quiet bond. Snowflakes drifted lazily from the sky, catching the moonlight as they fell. And for a moment, the entire world seemed to hold its breath, celebrating the magic of trust, the wonder of friendship, and the anticipation of Christmas morning. Inside the house, the quiet thrum of life continued in the most subtle ways. The gentle shifting of blankets, the soft sighs of contentment, and the faintest thump of a tail against the cupboard floor. The child and her secret companion rested together, bound by trust and shared adventure, dreaming of playful moments, snowy fields, and the promise of joy that tomorrow would bring. And in that stillness, under the steady gaze of the moon, the magic of Christmas Eve grew quietly, tenderly, and entirely unforgettable. The first light of Christmas morning crept softly across the horizon, painting the snowy yard with pale gold and gentle pink. Inside the house, the quiet stirrings of the day began, though no one was fully awake yet. The child shifted slightly under her blankets, sensing that the world outside had begun to change. Even the dog, curled up in its little hideaway, twitched in its sleep, nostrils flaring slightly, as if catching the subtle scent of the morning's magic drifting through the house. Soft sounds floated from the kitchen, faint clinks, the muted rustle of wrapping paper, and the occasional hum of someone adjusting to the new day. The child's eyes opened slowly, blinking against the gentle light, and she stretched quietly beneath her covers. The dog lifted its head, ears perking up, tail giving a small, excited wag. Something in the air had shifted. a subtle electricity that whispered promises of delight and surprises waiting just beyond the doors of their cozy little home. She slipped softly from her bed, careful not to disturb her parents, and crept toward the cupboard. The dog stirred immediately, rising to its feet with a soft stretch, and followed her with quiet, careful steps. Together, they moved toward the living room, where the soft glow of morning light began to filter through the windows. Snow glittered faintly outside, untouched and perfect, as if the world itself had held its breath for the arrival of this special day. The child paused for a moment, brushing the dog's fur gently, feeling the warmth beneath her fingers. "It's almost time," she whispered. The dog tilted its head, as though understanding every word, every gentle gesture. Its eyes, bright and attentive, reflected the soft light of the early morning, full of trust and quiet excitement. Together, they waited in the hush, listening to the faint movements and muffled sounds of a house awakening slowly, savoring the calm before the joyful chaos of Christmas morning. Outside, the moon lingered faintly in the sky, its golden glow blending with the first hints of dawn. Snow clung to branches, sparkling like tiny diamonds, and every small detail seemed to hum with quiet magic. The child imagined the adventures of the day ahead, the laughter, the surprises, and the joy that would ripple through the house as presents were unwrapped and warm smiles were exchanged. The dog, sensing the subtle tension of anticipation, nudged her hand softly, as if to share in the excitement of a day that promised happiness and wonder. The child's parents began to stir, their voices carrying faintly from the kitchen. Footsteps padded gently across the floor, a mug clinked softly, and the faint aroma of something sweet and spicy drifted through the hall. The child smiled quietly, pressing a finger to her lips to keep the secret of the dog hidden a little longer. She crouched beside her loyal companion, brushing its fur and whispering, "Soon, everything will be just right." The dog responded with a soft nuzzle, tail sweeping lightly across the floor in a rhythm that matched her own quickening heartbeat. Every corner of the house seemed to glow with warmth and anticipation. The soft light of dawn, the gentle hush of the snowy morning, and the quiet bond between child and dog combined to create a world held delicately between sleep and wakefulness. The child imagined the moments to come, the first gasp of surprise, the laughter of family, and the quiet, shared joy that would fill their hearts and home. The dog, sensing every change, moved closer, ready to be part of the unfolding magic, its small presence a comforting and loyal companion to the child who had cared for it so tenderly. Finally, the child took a deep breath, feeling the soft warmth of the dog beside her. The first true hints of Christmas morning had arrived, carrying with them a gentle promise of joy, wonder, and quiet magic. Snow sparkled outside, the house hummed softly with life, and the bond between child and dog had never felt stronger. Together, they waited for the perfect moment to step fully into the day, hearts aligned, eyes bright, and spirits filled with anticipation for the joys that awaited them in this gentle, golden morning. The house slowly came to life as the soft light of Christmas morning filled every corner. The child felt a thrill of anticipation, her heart fluttering like tiny wings as she glanced at the dog beside her. Its eyes were bright with curiosity, tail giving gentle, rhythmic sweeps across the floor. Today, the secret they had shared all night would no longer be just theirs. It would become part of the magic that filled the entire house. Quietly, she guided the dog toward the living room, careful to avoid the creaking floorboards that might betray their approach. The dog followed obediently, paws soft against the wooden floor, sensing the importance of this moment. The child paused at the edge of the doorway, taking a deep breath and feeling the weight of excitement and nerves mingled together. Today, the dog would meet her parents for the first time in the glow of Christmas morning. Her mother stirred first, drawn by the soft sounds of movement. She appeared in the doorway, hair tousled and eyes still heavy with sleep, but warm with affection. The child stepped forward, holding her breath for just a moment before allowing the dog to step into the room. The little companion moved carefully, tail low but wagging gently, eyes bright and trusting as it looked up at her mother. The mother blinked, a soft gasp escaping her lips. Her eyes widened with surprise and then softened as she took in the sight of the dog, the child's pride and love shining brightly in her expression. "Well," she whispered, voice trembling slightly with wonder, "I wasn't expecting this." The child smiled, stepping closer, brushing the dog's fur gently, her heart swelling with quiet pride and relief. Her father appeared next, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, a mug of something warm in hand. He paused in the doorway, startled, and then a slow smile spread across his face as he realized what was happening. The dog, sensing the new energy, stepped forward carefully, pressing its nose gently against the child's hand. The father chuckled softly, a warm, gentle sound that filled the room with comfort. "So this is the special surprise, huh?" he said, eyes twinkling. "I can see why it's made someone very happy." The child laughed quietly, the sound light and joyful, blending with the soft hum of Christmas morning. She knelt slightly, allowing the dog to approach her parents with gentle steps, sniffing and exploring in its careful, trusting way. Each small interaction was a discovery, a shared moment of joy that deepened the bond between them. Her mother reached down slowly, hand extended, and the dog responded immediately, pressing its head into her palm with a soft, approving sigh. The warmth in the room grew, a gentle glow that seemed to match the brightness outside. Snow sparkled through the windows, reflecting the golden light of the morning sun. The child watched as her parents adjusted to the new presence in their home, smiles spreading naturally as the magic of the moment settled in. The dog wagged its tail, happy and serene, sensing the acceptance and love that filled the space. Soon, the room was alive with soft laughter and quiet chatter. The mother adjusted her hair, still smiling as she watched the dog settle comfortably on a small rug near the fireplace. The father moved closer, offering a gentle scratch behind the dog's ears, his warm hands conveying the same affection that words could not. The child's heart swelled, knowing that their secret was now shared and celebrated, the quiet magic of the night transforming into the joy of morning. Together, they moved through the first moments of Christmas, each small gesture, every soft laugh, and the gentle warmth of family connection blending seamlessly with the trust and love between child and dog. The room glowed with the golden light of snow and morning sun, and in every glance, every wag of a tail, every shared smile, the simple truth became clear. This Christmas was more than gifts or decorations. It was about love, companionship, and the quiet magic of hearts opening to one another. The dog, now fully part of their home, curled comfortably near the child, eyes bright and attentive, tail gently sweeping the floor. The child leaned back slightly, breathing in the warmth and joy of the moment, feeling certain that this day, like every small detail of the night before, would stay in her heart forever. Christmas morning had arrived, full of wonder, gentle magic, and the kind of happiness that comes from sharing your heart with someone you trust completely. The morning unfolded gently, each moment carrying the soft, golden warmth of Christmas. Light spilled through the windows, painting the walls with delicate patterns as snowflakes clung to the glass outside, shimmering like tiny jewels. The child and the dog moved quietly through the house, each step a gentle exploration of the new day. The dog's tail wagged softly with every discovery, ears perking at the faintest sounds, the laughter of parents, the rustle of wrapping paper, the quiet hum of the heater as it filled the rooms with warmth. The child knelt on the soft rug near the fireplace, brushing the dog's fur with tender fingers. Every stroke seemed to carry a small ripple of happiness, not just for the dog, but for the child herself. The dog leaned into her hand, eyes half closed in trust and contentment. Outside, the snow glinted under the morning sun, and the child imagined little sparkling pathways that led to endless adventures, adventures that only the two of them could share. Her mother came by, carrying a small tray of warm pastries. She paused as she noticed the quiet bond between child and dog, a soft smile spreading across her face. "It looks like someone has made a very special friend," she said, voice gentle and warm. The child nodded, feeling a rush of pride and joy, knowing that the secret of the night had blossomed into something shared, something real. The dog lifted its head, sniffing the air, and pressed gently against her mother's leg, as if to say, "I trust you too." The father joined them, hands full of tiny wrapped surprises, chuckling softly at the sight of the dog exploring its new home with cautious curiosity. "Careful," he said, kneeling to offer a treat. "These are all very special, just like our new little friend here." The dog responded immediately, sniffing the treat and giving a gentle wag of approval. Every movement, every soft interaction, deepened the warmth and quiet magic that filled the room. As the family moved about, small playful moments emerged naturally. The child tossed a soft toy across the room, and the dog leapt with joyful precision, ears flopping as it caught the toy mid-air. The child clapped softly, heart fluttering with delight, while the parents watched with quiet amusement, smiles brightening their faces. Each small laugh, each shared glance, created an invisible thread of connection that wrapped the family together in comfort, warmth, and trust. Even the simplest gestures carried magic. The dog nudged a small pile of wrapping paper aside with its nose, as if ready to join in the gentle chaos of unwrapping surprises. The child giggled quietly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear and kneeling beside her companion. "Today is perfect," she whispered softly, not needing words to convey the depth of her happiness. The dog rested its head lightly on her lap, tail sweeping slowly, content and serene. Outside, The snow continued to glisten under the clear morning sky. The child imagined them running across the yard later, the dog bounding joyfully through drifts of snow, playful paw prints tracing a path across the frozen ground. For now, though, they stayed inside, savoring the calm, golden moments of Christmas morning. The quiet laughter, the warm sunlight, the gentle rustle of family life. Every soft sound, every shared glance, every gentle pat or wagging tail reinforced the sense of home, love, and belonging. Time seemed to slow, each tick of the clock marking a delicate heartbeat in the rhythm of their day. The child watched the dog curl into a cozy corner by the fireplace, the warmth of the fire reflecting in its eyes. She leaned back on the rug, hands folded quietly, feeling a profound sense of peace. This day was a gift, not just because of presents or decorations, but because of the shared trust, the quiet joy, and the small, golden moments that wove them together as a family. As the morning sunlight stretched across the room, the child realized something deep and simple. Happiness was in the quiet laughter, in the soft gaze of her parents, in the gentle presence of her loyal companion, and in the still magic that hung in the air like warm, sparkling dust. Christmas had arrived fully, not with grand gestures, but with small, tender moments that would linger in hearts forever. The dog lifted its head, meeting the child's eyes, and gave a soft, approving wag of its tail. The world outside could wait. Inside, love, warmth, and quiet joy filled every corner, and for the child, this Christmas morning was already perfect. As the day stretched on, the house seemed to hum with quiet contentment. The child and the dog moved together through the rooms, sharing small adventures between sips of cocoa and the soft rustle of wrapping paper. The dog's energy, gentle yet playful, mirrored the child's excitement, and each careful step brought them closer, a silent understanding deepening between them. Snow continued to sparkle outside, untouched paths hinting at playful adventures yet to come. The child opened the back door, letting in a ribbon of cold air. The dog bounded ahead, paws making soft prints in the fresh snow, tail wagging with pure delight. The child laughed quietly, a sound that blended perfectly with the gentle hush of the winter morning. Each leap, each joyful pounce of the dog painted the day with small, tender moments of happiness. Even in the simplest act of watching a paw print form in the soft snow, the child felt the quiet magic that made Christmas so special. After a while, they returned indoors, snowflakes melting into tiny drops on the warm floor. The child dried the dog gently with a soft towel, brushing its fur with tender care, feeling the bond between them grow stronger with each small gesture. The parents watched from the doorway, soft smiles on their faces, hearts quietly warmed by the sight of their child and new companion sharing this first magical Christmas together. No words were necessary. The soft glow of understanding filled the room, and every small movement spoke of trust, care, and love. The afternoon drifted by like golden sunlight across the floor. The child and the dog curled up near the fire, sharing quiet warmth, while the parents attended to tidying and organizing the house. Soft murmurs of conversation floated through the rooms, gentle laughter punctuating the calm atmosphere. The dog rested its head on the child's lap, eyes half closed, tail sweeping in slow, contented circles, while the child stroked it with care, whispering small words of affection. Every sound, every touch carried a rhythm of serenity and happiness, wrapping them all in gentle comfort. As evening approached, the child gazed out the window at the soft, fading light. The sky was painted in delicate hues of pink and gold, snow glinting faintly under the last rays of the sun. A quiet thought crossed her mind. The moon, high above, had watched over them through the night and the day, a silent guardian of small wishes and tender moments. She imagined the moon smiling, its golden light blessing the bond she shared with the dog, the gentle magic of Christmas settling softly around them. Dinner passed quietly, filled with soft laughter and the gentle clink of utensils. The dog stayed close to the child, occasionally lifting its head to observe, tail brushing softly against the rug. The parents exchanged smiles, eyes meeting briefly with unspoken warmth, marveling at how a simple act, a small wish, a new companion could bring such joy and connection. The child's heart swelled with quiet gratitude, feeling the day's simple magic fill her from head to toe. After dinner, the child and the dog moved toward the window again, watching as the snow reflected the growing moonlight. The world outside seemed hushed, wrapped in silver blue calm, as though waiting for the night to carry on the gentle magic. The dog pressed against the child's leg, warm and steady, a comforting presence in the quiet evening. The child whispered softly, a small thank you to the moon for listening, for the gift of companionship, for the gentle, unseen magic that had made this Christmas unforgettable. The parents, sensing the approaching calm, moved to guide the child toward bedtime. The dog trotted silently alongside, obedient and serene, ready to be part of the last quiet moments of the day. Soft voices, gentle laughter, and the rhythmic sweep of the dog's tail created a soothing cadence, carrying them gently toward the night. The house, still aglow from firelight and the last golden rays of the sun, hummed with the quiet fulfillment of a day spent in warmth, love, and gentle magic. As the moon rose fully in the sky, casting its silver glow across the snowy yard, the child felt a serene sense of completion. Today had been perfect, not for its grandeur, but for its simplicity, for the bonds shared, for the quiet joy of trust and companionship. The dog curled beside her bed, soft warmth radiating, eyes bright with calm happiness. The moonlight drifted across them, a silent guardian of wishes fulfilled and hearts gently opened to the quiet wonders of life. Night draped its quiet blanket over the little house, soft shadows stretching gently across the rooms. The child lay tucked beneath warm covers, the dog curled closely at her side, breathing steady and calm. The gentle crackle of the fireplace filled the room with a comforting rhythm, a quiet lullaby of warmth and safety. Outside, the snow glimmered under the serene gaze of the moon, reflecting a soft silver glow that seemed to bless the night and everything within it. The child shifted slightly, careful not to disturb the dog, and whispered softly, "Thank you for today." Her words were gentle, filled with the quiet awe of a heart brimming with joy and gratitude. The dog pressed its head lightly against her hand, eyes half closed, tail giving a slow, contented sweep across the blanket. In that simple moment, no words were needed. The warmth and trust between them spoke louder than anything else ever could. The parents moved quietly through the house, checking on lights, softening the hum of conversation into the gentle quiet of bedtime. They paused for a moment in the doorway, watching the child and her new companion. A soft smile spread across their faces as they witnessed the bond formed in these first magical hours of Christmas. The mother brushed a strand of hair from her face, whispering a quiet, "Good night," while the father nodded softly, a hand resting briefly on the child's shoulder before retreating into the warm shadows of the hallway. Outside, the moon hung high, round and steady, casting its silver light across the snowy rooftops. It seemed to watch with a gentle understanding, a silent guardian of wishes granted and hearts opened. The child's eyes drifted toward the window, taking in the quiet magic of the world beyond. Snowflakes shimmered in the moonlight like tiny stars fallen to earth, and in that calm, timeless moment, the child felt a soft certainty. Love, trust, and small, tender moments of connection were the true gifts of any day. The dog nestled more deeply, soft warmth radiating against the child's side. Its breathing slowed, matching the calm rhythm of the room, a steady heartbeat of companionship. The child rested her hand on its fur, closing her eyes briefly, feeling the quiet magic that had carried them through the day settle gently over her. She imagined the moon smiling down, pleased with the small but powerful happiness that had blossomed in her home. In the quiet of the house, tiny sounds punctuated the night. The soft creak of the wooden floor as the parents moved through another room, the faint rustle of blankets as the dog adjusted slightly, the distant call of winter birds outside. Each sound was a gentle note in the lullaby of the evening, a calm rhythm that guided the family toward deeper rest. The child felt herself drifting with the quiet cadence, carried on a gentle tide of warmth, trust, and peaceful joy. Moments passed like soft whispers of time. The child thought of the day's simple magic, the first soft snow footprints, the laughter of shared play, the warm glow of family together, and the gentle, unwavering presence of her faithful companion. Every memory settled like a soft feather in her heart, a quiet assurance that this Christmas and the love it held would remain with her forever. Outside, the moon's glow softened further, illuminating the quiet garden and rooftops with a gentle silver haze. The dog let out a soft sigh, curling tighter, while the child adjusted the blanket around it with careful fingers. The house was still now, filled with warmth, gentle memories, and the quiet pulse of trust and care. The world outside could wait. Inside, everything was complete, everything was calm, everything was just as it should be. The child's eyelids grew heavy, heart full of joy and gratitude. She whispered one last soft thought into the night. "Thank you for everything." The dog responded with a tiny shift, a soft nudge of reassurance, as if to say, "I am here always." Together, they drifted toward sleep, the gentle warmth of love and companionship carrying them into dreams. The house settled into perfect quiet. Firelight flickered softly, casting long shadows that danced across walls and floor. Outside, the snow sparkled under the moon's watchful gaze, reflecting the magic of a day spent in love, trust, and gentle wonder. The child slept soundly, the dog at her side, and for a few perfect hours, the world itself seemed to pause, holding its breath in quiet celebration of the simple, enduring magic of hearts open to joy and companionship. And so, under the calm silver light of the moon, surrounded by warmth, love, and quiet happiness, the house rested. Christmas night had arrived fully, carrying the gentle promise of dreams, peace, and the quiet knowledge that tomorrow would hold the same soft magic, waiting to be discovered.